Hey everyone, welcome to Winnipeg Sports Talk. My name is Hrabchak, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a full UFA RFA preview for the Winnipeg Jets for this upcoming offseason. They have a long list of free agents that Kevin Cheveldayoff will look to bring back as many of them as he can. Obviously, coming off the President's Trophy and falling short in the second round against the Dallas Stars, this is a massive offseason for this Winnipeg Jets team to remain competitive and remain a contender in the West going into next season. To decide whether or not I think these players will be back with the Jets, we're going to look at what they did during the regular season, what they did during the playoffs, and what their projected contracts are courtesy of Evolving Hockey. Let me know in the comments down below, player by player, which ones you think return to the Winnipeg Jets and which ones you think leave in free agency. Let's start with the unrestricted free agents. Before we dive into the UFAs, let's quickly set the table for what the Winnipeg Jets have at their disposal in terms of cap space. Puckpedia is projecting that they have $26.4 million to work with between these UFAs and RFAs that we are about to dive into, and this is year one of a massive 3-year increase in the NHL's salary cap. So last season, the cap ceiling was $88 million for every team across the NHL. That is jumping up to $95.5 million this next season, then $104 the following season, and then $113 the season after that. So some of these projected contracts might have some sticker shock attached to them, but when you see people talking about players like Sam Bennett, maybe even getting $10 million per season, that is just the cap environment that we are headed towards. So keep that in mind when looking at the projected contracts here. Now let's dive into the unrestricted free agents for Winnipeg. The first UFA that we're going to dive into is the one with the highest projected contract, and that is Nikolai Ehlers. He played 69 games last year for the Jets, 24 goals, 39 assists, and 63 points. It was the first season in a long time that he had been on the top power play unit. That was the best unit in the NHL over the course of the regular season, and he was his usual dynamic self, both at 5-on-5 and on that top power play unit. Because of that, Evolving Hockey is projecting a massive contract for Ehlers, 8 years, $9.3 million in AAV, $9.3 million per season for Nikolai Ehlers. Now, in the playoffs, that had been the biggest knock for Nikolai Ehlers. In 8 games this year, he had 5 goals and 7 points, so easily one of his best playoff performances of his entire career, and came at a very strong time as he looks to either hit the open market or re-sign with the Winnipeg Jets. The projection here, 8 years. The Winnipeg Jets are the only team that can offer that extra 8th year. So every team, if Nikolai Ehlers hits the open market on July 1, they can only offer him 7 years. The Jets have the luxury of offering that extra 8th year unless they executed a sign and trade. So they would sign Nikolai Ehlers to an 8-year deal and then trade him. That is an option as well. Although it's rare, you don't see it very often in the NHL, the Jets do have the advantage of signing that 8-year deal for Ehlers at $9.3 million per season, which is what Evolving Hockey projects. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd bring back Nikolai Ehlers on an 8-year deal at $9.3 million. The next pending unrestricted free agent for Kevin Cheveldayoff is Mason Appleton, right winger, who played 71 games for the Jets last season. In those games, he had 10 goals, 12 assists, and 22 points. And if the sticker shock wasn't there for you on the Nikolai Ehlers contract that I just mentioned, I think it's going to be there for this one. Evolving Hockey is projecting a 4-year, $3.8 million per season contract for Mason Appleton as an unrestricted free agent. And at that price tag, I cannot see Mason Appleton returning to the Winnipeg Jets. They just signed Alex Iafallo to a 3-year, $3.6 million contract extension, and he is a player that could be primed to move from that 4th line up to the 3rd line and play with Adam Lowry in that shutdown role. And Mason Appleton, he's been a Winnipeg Jet for a long time, obviously a big part of the group and Adam Lowry specifically, but I could easily see the Jets either moving Alex Iafallo into that role or using a young player stepping from the AHL to the NHL like Nikita Chibrikov or Parker Ford. So at that price tag, I don't think the Winnipeg Jets will re-sign Mason Appleton. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next up on our list is Brandon Tanev, who was traded to Winnipeg at the deadline for a 2nd-round pick and only scored 1 goal between the regular season and the playoffs for the Winnipeg Jets, but over the course of the regular season had 79 games played, 10 goals, 12 assists, and 22 points, so the same amount of goals, assists, and points as Mason Appleton, who we just covered. But at 33 years old, Evolving Hockey is projecting a 2-year, $2.4 million per season contract for Brandon Tanev. Now, in the playoffs, he had some big hits that the whiteout absolutely loved. Brandon Tanev bringing the energy. He's a fan favorite for that. He's a strong penalty killer. So I could see the Jets doing that contract as a depth move to have a specialty penalty killer on their fourth line in Brandon Tanev, who's always going to bring the energy and stick up for his teammates, as we saw over the course of the regular season and the playoffs. Let me know in the comments down below if you think the Jets do that. 2 years, $2.4 million, the projected contract from Evolving Hockey for Brandon Tanev. The final UFA that we're going to talk about in today's video is Hayden Fleury. The 6'4", 207-pound left shot defenseman is 28 years old. He played 39 regular season games for the Winnipeg Jets last season. Didn't have a goal, but had 7 assists for 7 points over the course of that time. And 1 year, $800,000 is the projected contract. So a very cheap depth defenseman type deal for Hayden Fleury, who in his end of season media availability said that he would love to remain a Winnipeg Jet and loved his time here over the past season. Obviously, fans kind of fell in love with him in that Game 7 win over the St. Louis Blues. Josh Morrissey went down just 2 minutes into that game, and Hayden Fleury and the rest of the Jets defense corps saw a massive boost in that double overtime game. In their ice time, Hayden Fleury played over 35 minutes, was fantastic in that game, played in the Dallas series as well. I could totally see the Jets doing that, and I could see Hayden Fleury sticking around for another year at 1 year, $800,000 as a nice depth defenseman for this Jets group. Now it's time to move on to the restricted free agents for this Winnipeg Jets group. But before we dive into that, if you're enjoying the video so far, make sure you hit the like button down below, hit that subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss all the great content we've got here on the channel over the summer months. The Blue Bombers are underway, the Gold Eyes, the Sea Bears, all of the summer sports here in Winnipeg are underway. We're going to have a ton of content throughout the summer, so hit that notification bell so you don't miss a thing. The first RFA that we are going to discuss in today's video is Gabriel Vilardi. He spent the last 2 seasons here with the Winnipeg Jets after being traded from the LA Kings in that Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. And this past season, he set career highs across the board. 71 games played, that's a new career high. Goals with 27, assists with 34, and points with 61. All new career highs for Gabriel Vilardi. Obviously, there's the injury concern with Vilardi. He missed the final chunk of the regular season and the first half of the St. Louis series. Played the remainder of the playoffs, 9 games, and posted 1 goal and 4 points. Because of that body of work over the regular season, Evolving Hockey is projecting a 4-year deal worth $7.5 million per season. Obviously, Vilardi has a massive impact on that top power play unit. He's a passer, he's a finisher, he's so dynamic at the side of the net. On the top line, he's got Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Gabe Vilardi. We saw them all season long. There's no reason to think the Jets wouldn't want to keep both of those things intact, the power play and the top line. So a 4-year, $7.5 million deal. While there is concern for injury, Gabriel Vilardi has proven to be a top 6 winger in the NHL. I would sign that deal. I think Gabriel Vilardi would sign that deal. And I think we will see Gabriel Vilardi in a Winnipeg Jets uniform for the foreseeable future. Next up is Dylan Samberg, who had a breakout season in every sense of the phrase. You go back to training camp, we were wondering if this guy would be able to handle a top 4 role. He didn't just handle it, he absolutely excelled on that second pairing alongside Neil Pionk. 60 games played, 6 goals, 14 assists, and 20 points. But the real value for Samberg came at the other end of the rink. He was one of the better shutdown defensemen across the entire NHL this past season, limiting chances, shutting plays down off the rush. He added a lot more poise to his puck handling this season as well. So a fantastic year for Samberg, and Evolving Hockey's projecting a contract of 4 years, $4.5 million per season, which just further proves that defensive defensemen are the most underrated players in the NHL. I mean, Jacob Slavin often gets nominated as the best defensive defenseman in the NHL. He just signed an 8-year deal worth just north of $6 million per season. So a $4.5 million deal for Samberg for what he does defensively on the penalty kill, with 20 points from a defenseman in 60 games, which is totally fine. That would be an absolute steal for this Winnipeg Jets team. Just for argument's sake, Evolving Hockey on an 8-year deal for Samberg is projecting roughly $6 million per season as well. If I'm the Winnipeg Jets, I'm looking to lock this guy up for as long as possible. 26 years old, 6'4", shutdown defenseman. Those don't grow on trees. Dylan Samberg, incredible season. I would lock him up 8 years, and I think the Jets will have no issue doing that either. Another RFA for the Winnipeg Jets to sign is Morgan Barron, who spent the majority of the season as a 4th-line left winger. That was until the trade deadline when the Jets brought in Brandon Tanev and Morgan Barron slid to the center position, where for about 2 weeks, he went on an absolute tear. Over the course of the regular season, He had 74 games played, 8 goals, 7 assists, and 15 points. Evolving Hockey is projecting a 2-year, $2 million deal for Morgan Barron. A lot of fans think that there is another level of potential, offensive potential for Morgan Barron to hit. So for a 2-year, $2 million deal as your fourth line center, he can kill penalties. He's 6'4", 220 pounds, not afraid to throw his weight around. I think that's an absolutely fine contract and one the Winnipeg Jets should look to sign for pending RFA Morgan Barron. The final free agent that we are going to talk about in today's episode is Rasmus Kupari. He's 25 years old. He's a pending RFA. He played 59 games for the Jets last season, had 5 goals, 3 assists, and 8 points. And Evolving Hockey is projecting a very cheap fourth liner type of contract, 1 year, $1.1 million. Obviously, Rasmus Kupari has the speed element to his game that not a lot of players in the NHL have. He's always at the top of those NHL edge charts in terms of skating speed, but there's always another level that you feel like he could hit in terms of offensive production. So for 1 year, $1.1 million for Kupari to be a fourth line player or maybe even the 13th forward, I would bring him back at that price tag. Let me know in the comments below what you think. That's going to do it for this video, the UFA RFA preview for the Winnipeg Jets this offseason. I hope you played along throughout the episode. If you didn't, let me know in the comments down below which players you think their projected contract is a little high. Let me know which players you think their projected contract is a little low. And while you're down there, make sure you hit the like button. Like I said earlier as well, hit that subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss all of the Jets offseason content, the Bombers content, Gold Eyes, Seabears, all the great stuff we've got for you here at Winnipeg Sports Talk. Hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.